The BRD, SRS, user stories, requirements traceability matrix, documents. But when do you really use each one? And are they even necessary? That's what we're diving in today's video. Let's get right into it. Business analysts don't just gather requirements, they have to document them. Documentation helps to retain records. It helps to have records of what the requirements actually were and also what exactly was signed off. So what requirements related documents do we work with as business analysts? Let's look at some of the popular ones. The first is the BRD, or the Business Requirements Document. The Business Requirements Document is a high-level document that describes what the business wants to achieve. So you use it when you're starting a new project and need to define the business goals, problems, stakeholders, and expected benefits. In other words, it's a document that you use early on or that you create early on in the project. So if you say, for example, that we want to reduce customer wait time by 50% and increase delivery orders by 30%. That statement sounds like something that would show up in a business requirements document. So the business requirements document tells you why that project exists and what the business needs. But then there is also the SRS, or the software requirements specification. So the SRS is a detailed document that describes how the system should behave. It includes the functional requirements and the non-functional requirements. In other words, it tells you what the system should do, but it also tells you how the system should do it. You would create this when you're working on a tech-heavy solution with development teams. It's essentially a document that developers need. So if, for example, you have requirements like customers should be able to place orders with multiple toppings, system must process payments via card or USSD, app should load in under 3 seconds. Those are requirements that would show up in a software requirements specification document. The focus of this is telling you exactly what the software should do and how the software should behave. Sometimes you might have what is called the FRS or the FRD, which is the functional requirements specification or the functional requirements document. This is actually mostly taken as a part of the software requirements specification. It focuses on the functional requirements, so it tells you what the system should be able to do. So the specific functions that the system should perform. For example, if you say the system shall allow customers filter meals by category, that is a functional requirement. That is the kind of thing that would show up in a functional requirements document or a functional requirements specification. Then you have the user stories, and this is used in agile environments. Essentially, user stories capture requirements in small and testable forms. They follow the syntax as a dash, I want dash, so that's dash. I believe I made a video that dives more deeply into user stories. Feel free to watch that. I'll put the link in the description. An example of a user story would be something like, as a customer, I want to track my order so that I know when it will be delivered. There are other requirements related documents like the requirements traceability matrix that you use to track each requirement through its life cycle. There are also process flows to visualize how data moves through the system. You can have wireframes to provide visual layouts for UI design. You can also have a glossary document where you clarify domain terms and things that might be confusing. Of course, you can put that into the business requirements document. Now, do you need to create all of these documents for a project? Not really. You should always create only what is needed for the particular project that you are working on. If it is something as simple as maybe a small website, for instance, you are fine with just the user stories and wireframes. But if it is a complex project, maybe like a government project, then you want extensive documentation. So in that situation, you would be thinking about the business requirements document, perhaps the software requirements specification, the requirements traceability matrix, and you want to also ensure that you have signed approvals for that kind of project. So as a business analyst, you need to know what is needed when. My name is Olumide. I'm the business analysis coach. If you'd like to train with me, visit businessanalysiscoach.com and you will find my courses. I have practical courses. I also have certification training. Businessanalysiscoach.com is where you need to be. And you can reach out via WhatsApp. The classes are available to people all around the world. So you can reach out via WhatsApp. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, leave a like, leave a comment. See you in my next video.